I thought I'd switch the spot that we record for this review because I ain't gonna lie, I am liking this album. I'm not gonna lie. Live, Laugh, Love kind of hit me in my heart. I ain't gonna lie. I like seeing an artist that's been struggling with a lot of things, that's been going through a lot of emotional turmoil, have that like major like foot forward. You feel me? A lot of the times when we see people that's going through any mental health things, that's going through anything life changing, life altering, we don't necessarily see that reflect into the music. And I feel like Earl has the ability to communicate how much better he's been mentally in the lyrics that he uses, and also able to convey it with the way he, interacts with the people around him. I like the way that he is marketing this album, like, showing the little house parties and having cookouts and all this, because it's just showing that he's in a better place mentally. He's in a better place, and you know, he's making the effort to change. You can see the difference between, some rap songs and all the music that he's been putting out as of recently to right now is really enjoyable. And JPEG Mafia was just now talking about how Earl makes the same type of music, and I tend to agree with him. I ain't gonna lie, Earl has been making the same type of music for a really long time. That's not a slight on the rapping capability of Earl, because Earl is one of the best lyricists I think in this recent, decade. But it more so says the testament to how his words has been impacting everybody that's listening to his music, because he's still a very, I'm not gonna say a big artist, I'm gonna say impactful one. He has influenced a lot of the sounds that we're hearing today. A lot of the lyrical mumble blah 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 that she was saying is due to him being such a prominent force when it comes to lyricism and the way that he is able to flip words and his philosophies on tracks. And with this album, it is pretty much the same thing, but you could tell that he's just in a better mental space. A lot of the lyrics in here are very hopeful. When I listen to the music, I feel a change. You know what I mean? And I want to say I have this SIG. This is fake, by the way. Just to have the aesthetic of this album, which is just like, an older individual taking their time and reflecting on things that's going on. You know what I mean? I feel like this album is very, very influential. In my opinion, I feel like this is gonna go down as one of his better albums. I'm giving. I've been giving it a listen because, again, it's a very short album track. Like, the whole album is only about 25 minutes. There's like 10 songs. A lot of it is sweet and to the point. A lot of the lyrics are very dense, are very multi-layered. A lot of the words that he says, I don't even understand this sometimes. And, within the multiple listens that I've given, I have different perspectives for like most of the songs or most of the things. But a lot of the times when you're listening to every single song, it kind of feels like one continuous like diary, you know what I mean? And at that point, it feels like you can really re-listen to this album multiple times and still get like different things out of it. But I'm gonna talk about my standout tracks on this one. Hold on, let me pull up what's the name. So, Intuition, I like this song. I like the beat, it's very interesting. I like how the rap, the patterns, how he flows is very interesting. I like the bars. Crisco is probably one of my favorites. I like his flow. Again, his flow very, very, very like focused on this one. It feels like he is trying to tell a story. He's getting from A to B, and how he's running it down is just, you can tell the confidence in his words is just is hitting like a fucking truck. You know what I mean? Like, as he's spitting, he's saying these bars, he's saying some nasty ass things, bro, and it's hitting. because the beat is also, you know, a lot of the times when I talk about production on songs, I have like a big criticism about production overtaking the artist, because sometimes when, you know, let's just say like the Tekka album, a lot of the songs are heavily produced, and the production is pretty much the vocal point of everything, but it doesn't necessarily give the artist a chance to shine. But with Earl, a lot of the times when he's having these heavy produced songs or whatever it is, I feel like it really complements the feeling of whatever the mood is, you know what I mean? Like some rap songs, a lot of the songs are very dark, and it feels like his voice is super, you know, almost feels overwhelmed by the production, which really complements the sense of loneliness. And with this album in particular, I feel like the production is kind of complementary. Again, it does have the same type of aesthetic of kind of overpowering the voice, but since he's having like more of a energized flow, or putting a little bit more effort into, you know, the intention with the lyrics, I feel like it just gives it a breath of fresh air, and I really enjoy it. But let's go Static. I like Static a lot too. Static is another one of those songs where, well, every part of his songs are usually just bar heavy, but this one in particular is really fun. It's a quick track. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Exhausted is a song that I've been playing over repeat because I ain't gonna lie, I feel it. You know, it's essentially just about being exhausted from having to work as much as you might do in a person in his position, like a person in his position putting in the extra time, the extra work, and kind of lamenting how the work and all this extra load is kind of getting in the way of, you know, trying to be there as a parent. A lot of this album is about him being a parent, and him, you know, unfortunately missing out on a lot of the child's development because he wasn't necessarily mentally there. And there's a lot of bars during this album that talks about being a parent, being an absent parent, or being a parent with mental problems that is going through things while also watching your, you know, next generation of your child grow up. And there is a sense of just, you know, missing out on major parts in their lives, and he kind of reconciles, and he talks about how he feels like he was missing a lot of the parts in the child's life, but now he is able to acknowledge that, you know, I'm getting better, and thinking about the things that I miss is not very productive to the time that we have now. And I feel like Live, Laugh, Love, it's a good album. It's a great album. I think that you should listen to it if you like that type of rap. Again, Earl is kind of one of those artists, either you get him or you don't get him, which is fair, you know what I mean? He's not the hugest artist, but back in the day I know he was super popular. I think that a lot of the times musically he is doing things that is technically already been done before, but the way that he executes it is very interesting, and I really enjoy that side of his creativity, you know. Anyway, have you listened to the album? If you haven't, let me know. If you like me doing more of these like more intimate sit down things, let me know. I'm experimenting because, you know, by the time I edit this video, these two videos, I am probably going to be done with this 30-day challenge. So, you know, I'll see you next time.